The gut-wrenching day in the trial that has already rocked one of America's most powerful universities. A day so packed with drama and pain that even the jurors were crying. It happened when victim number one of former Penn State coach Jerry Sandusky, he's just 18, broke down on the witness stand, weeping as he remembered the abuse he endured as a little boy. Then one of Sandusky's fellow coaches took the stand, looked him in the eye, and said he saw the abuse himself. Sandusky said nothing, stoic in the courtroom, and ABC's Jim Avila was there.
Two big men on campus, the defensive coach who built linebacker U, Jerry Sandusky, now an accused child molester, versus the protege, a young, thick-necked, red-headed offensive coach named Mike McQueary, today staring each other down from across a courtroom. High drama as McQueary, in a loud, strong voice, recalled another time he was in the same room with Sandusky, a locker room, watching, he testified, a raw sexual assault on a little boy. This was the moment that would eventually lead to the firing of coaching legend Joe Paterno and tarnish the reputation of this country's most respected football program forever.
Here was the man who literally brought Penn State to its knees.
McQueary practically barked his testimony, telling his story of the assault he saw and heard in the Penn State locker room, leaving him, quote, embarrassed, walking in on something I did not want to see. 3 quick looks before slamming a locker. Quote, I made the loud noise to say someone else is here, break it up. McQueary saying he had no doubt about what he saw and who he saw doing it. Quote, both saw me. I looked directly in his eyes.
He told the jury, I'm sure about it, and there's no mistake that this was extremely sexual in nature, and it was something that was horrible.
McQueary says he told his father, his mentor Joe Paterno, and school officials. The school's failure to stop Sandusky, say authorities, is what led to the broader scandal, and made it possible, say critics, for him to assault others, including today's first witness, victim number one. A boy of 13 then, now 18, testifying in tears to 3 years of sexual abuse that he was too fearful to report then, and even today, struggles to recount.
He didn't want to be here, he didn't want to testify, but he knew he had a duty to do so that Sandusky wasn't going to harm any other children.
During cross-examination today, that 18-year-old boy, in tears, begged for it all to stop when he was challenged about the number of times that Jerry Sandusky allegedly assaulted him. And as he was crying, you could turn to the jury just a few feet away from them, and they were weeping too. George?
What a room. Okay, Jim, thanks very much. Let's get more on this from Dan Abrams, our legal analyst. And Dan, it is not often you see a jury so visibly shaken.
Occasionally you'll see it when autopsy photos are shown because they're gruesome and heart-wrenching. But in this case, you're talking about one of the accusers, talking about what he says happened to him, which really would seem to indicate that these jurors believed him, which is terrible news, of course, for Jerry Sandusky's defense team.
And his lawyers must have known this was coming. You wonder why they let this go to trial.
They probably didn't have much of a choice. Prosecutors probably said to them, you have 2 choices. Either you can plead guilty to all the charges, or we can go to trial. I think there's a sense sometimes out there they should have tried to cut a deal. My guess is there was never any deal on the table.
After this, does Sandusky have to testify? He said nothing today.
Well, to use a football phrase, it might be the Hail Mary, meaning if things are going so badly for the defense, even though Jerry Sandusky was terrible in his media interviews, maybe they take the chance to put him on the stand. But I think either way, this is a tough, tough defense.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.